Well, greetings. Thank you so much for joining us on UCTV. It is always a pleasure to have you. My name is Nara Osende, and today we are actually going to delve a little bit about leadership. Well, today we're going to actually be into the Leadership Magazine review here at UCTV. I'm so glad today that we are actually having two lovely ladies from Bethany Land Institute. We're going to delve a little bit more about what Bethany Land Institute is about, the genesis of it, what they do, and then we shall do the general bit about, well, Laudato Si and how is that connected to Bethany Land Institute. With me in studio, I have two lovely ladies who I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. Well, let's start with the lady just right next here.
Okay, thank you so much, Nora. Good morning, our listeners. My name is Ruth Nakalembe, the Community Engagement Officer, Bethany Land Institute, Nandere.
Yes, thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, listeners. My name is Camden Robertson. I am a special assistant to Ruth in the Community Outreach Office at Bethany Land Institute.
You're very welcome, Camden.
Thank you.
Camden and Ruth, you're welcome. It is the UCTV Leadership Magazine review. We just want to tell us a little bit about Bethany. Where did that come from?
Okay. Thank you so much, Nora. Bethany Land Institute is found in Nandere. It's in Luweero District. That's where we are found. Bethany was started by three priests. That is our Father Emmanuel Katongole, Father Cornelius Ssempala, and the late Father Rweza. These two were inspired by the Pope's letter, Laudato Si, that was written in 2015. They started it with the aim of integral ecology. That is our major aim. And we rely on three things to solve. One is to solve the issue of food security, and two, to deal with the livelihood or economic empowerment. And then the third one is for restoring land, the ecological system of our nature. We realize, and we have three pillars we dwell in at Bethany Land Institute. We have Mary's School, we have Martha's Market, and we have the Lazarus Forest. It is a story where I began from the story of Bethany. If you know the Bible, Bethany began, it was a small town, a small village for the poor. And then we're like, this village, there's nothing good. People thought there was nothing good to come from. And then there were these three brothers. That was Lazarus, Mary, and Martha. That's where our story comes in. Mary, we know all about Mary in the Bible. Used to be down to be teachable. It's like even complaints to Jesus. You know, Martha is here, me, I'm working, and Mary is just seated there. So we have the Mary School where we train trainees or caretakers whom, because we really want to transform rural lives. So we train caretakers, students who come in, we call them caretakers, not students at our BLI Institute. So we train them to go and be able to start what they've been taught. That is in integral ecology. We deal very much in regenerative agriculture. That's what we deal very much in. Then the Martha's Market, we are like, okay, we finished teaching them. They're able to start their farms. How about the economic bit of it? How can we have the value addition? I've been able to produce the pineapple, the tomatoes. What else can I do? Some people here in Uganda, they can produce food, but just for consumption. But we are like, even that food, it can be our business. You can get money out of it to solve the issue of poverty.
Right.
Yeah, and then we have Lazarus Forest. You know all about Lazarus in the Bible, died and resurrected. So when you look at Lazarus, it's a forest. When you come to our institute, you just see this forest. You're like, hey, we've never seen it. The resurrection. We know there's a lot of climate change, a lot of floods. The weather is changing, the seasons are changing, but we do that to restore. Like when we talk about Laudato Si, where we were inspired, a lot of things have happened. So we do regenerative agriculture, agroforestry, to restore what has been destroyed by teaching people. The Lazarus Forest is there to show you there is still hope. We can resurrect we can put things together and we can make Mother Earth happy.
Indeed.
That is in brief what we can talk about. We've been able to train several trainees, and then we have the outreach program where we are in, where we go, what we've studied, we need to take it to the community. How will the people know? Sometimes we remain with the information just for the Nandere village, but we move outside and be setting up demonstration gardens, sensitizing people about Laudato Si, about integral ecology, the interconnectedness. That's what Laudato Si talks about in chapter 4 of the Pope's letter. We talk about the interconnectedness. We cannot work us alone, but we work with several people to make sure that Mother Earth becomes happy again.
Wow, that is a very interesting and in-depth brief about Bethany, very well encompassing. I think Camden will actually come in and just tell us how Laudato Si is incorporated into this. You could just briefly just give us what Laudato Si is and what Bethany is doing in regards to Laudato Si.
Thank you, Nora.
You're welcome.
So as Ruth mentioned, Bethany Land Institute is founded based on Laudato Si, which is a Catholic encyclical published in 2015. And what the late Pope Francis was looking to call attention to in Laudato Si is the care of our common home and the response to environmental degradation in all of the forms that environmental degradation happens, for example, deforestation, improper waste disposal, things of that nature, and of course, all of the implications of environmental degradation in climate change. But what makes Laudato Si a very special document, particularly for Bethany Land Institute, is what Pope Francis names as the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. And what he means by that is to say that the problems of environmental degradation, harm to our earth, and the problems of economic inequality, including dire poverty, are shared struggles in the sense that environmental degradation is caused in part by economic inequality, poverty, for example, unsustainable farming and agriculture practices that are used because of the demand for quick harvests. And then in the same vein, as our earth continues to be harmed, as we see and witness environmental degradation, that also in turn exacerbates economic inequality, exacerbates poverty, for example, by impacting livelihoods. And so Bethany Land Institute is interested in responding to sort of the overlapping struggles and systems that inform both harm to our earth and systems of poverty. And so one of the ways in which we do that is allowing our caretakers who are there to be trained in agroforestry, integral ecologies, to also sell the products that they're growing at Bethany Land Institute. And so they're seeing an economic impact of their training that responds to the dual struggles that Pope Francis was calling attention to in Laudato Si.
Well, very nice. I see it is very multi-layered. And like Laudato Si is actually helping solve some of these problems through helping the environment in itself. And there is a conference that just concluded, the conference of 10 years after Laudato Si. What next? Can you briefly just highlight about the conference, what it was geared to do, and some of the achievements that came out of this, really? Yes.
So 2 weeks ago, Bethany Land Institute is very proud to have hosted 140 participants from over 20 countries. We were representing 4 continents from around the world. And these were educators, practitioners in the environment, faith leaders, students, researchers, a variety of different careers relevant to Laudato Si, to the environment, coming together to share both our knowledge, to hold the exciting work that has come out of Laudato Si in the last 10 years, but also to hold the necessary work to come. I think an important part of Laudato Si is that Pope Francis retains a lot of hope for our earth, and that is what we were trying to embody with our conference, and I think we did so successfully.
Oh, very nice. You want to add something about the
Okay,
conference?
just to add about that, about the conference, I personally, we saw different people of different categories. We saw the specialists, the policymakers, the students, the researchers, and all of them were coming together. I was so much excited about the traditional man who used to say like, that Jesus enterprise, making sure like all of us, Laudato Si is not only for the climate change, but for everything. Sometimes we know about it as climate change, but we are so amazed about the sister who shared about hospitality. How do we handle people when they come? So it's all about our relationship, our interconnectedness. It's all about the holistic approach in solving what is making Mother Earth cry.
Well, it has been really nice having you, Ruth and Camden. Give us your last remarks about Bethany in regards to Laudato Si. I think you'll go first, Ruth, before we close off the Leadership Magazine review.
My closing remarks, I would love really to thank the management of Bethany Land Institute, especially the founders, the president, Father Emmanuel Katongole, who had this vision. Because if they did not have, we've had impacts. We've at least impacted some of the people in Nandere, and we believe we still have hope that as we continue to follow what Laudato Si, what the Pope's letter says, we'll see a transformed Nandere, a transformed nation as Uganda and Africa as large.
Yes, Camden.
I would say that if you'd like to learn more about Bethany Land Institute and about Laudato Si, you can visit www.bethanylandinstitute.org, and you can also find us on social media. And thank you for listening today.
It has been nice having you. Thank you so much for coming to UCTV. Well, and it has been nice having you. That's all we had. A brief about Bethany Land Institute in relation to Laudato Si. So much is being done, really. And one way or the other, you can actually be a part of this noble cause. I am Nora Sende. Until then, take care.